Hello everyone, welcome to the Melancholy Coaching Podcast. I'm Fran, your host and NLP coach. Join me as I interview inspiring business owners and self-improvement seekers about their experiences whilst delving into personal development, motivation and strategies for overcoming challenges. Let's ignite our creative potential together. Hello and welcome to the Melancholy Coaching Podcast. I'm Fran, your NLP coach, and I'm thrilled to introduce an identity empowerment coach and mindset mastery specialist who transforms hidden struggles into unstoppable breakthroughs. Rising from deep personal trauma, she helps professionals and leaders rewire their minds, reclaim their power, and step into authentic success. Her message is simple yet powerful. Your past does not define your future. Your mindset does. Jules, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Fran, for having me today. I'm so excited. Real privilege.
Okay.
Thank you.
For complete transparency for anybody listening, Jules and I actually know each other. So we met as coaches after we'd retrained as coaches, and we met during a training weekend and have been firm coach friends ever since. So,
yes, we did. And it was a good weekend as well, wasn't it?
yeah, it was eventful.
Yeah, it was.
I've got a couple of questions for you
Okay.
that I'm curious about, and then we'll have a little chat around them if that's okay.
Of course.
So,
yes, that's fine.
can you share the moment when you realised mindset is the key to your own progress?
Of course. Excuse me. I think I really had hit rock bottom. And I was around a couple of people that were talking about this mindset thing. And let's face it, through social media, there is so much out there about mindset. And obviously, this is going back a few years ago. And I was intrigued. I've got a tickle, sorry. Sorry. I was really intrigued by it because I'd got to a point where I'd hit rock bottom because of the things that I had been through, and it just had felt one after another, after another, and after another. And I was absolutely mentally tired. I wanted to give up, to be honest with you. I'd done many things to try and boost the energy where I was just so mentally exhausted. That wasn't working. It was just numbing it. I spoke to one or two people, which it was lovely with what they said. Don't worry, Jules, it will get better. Okay, but it wasn't getting better. I'd gone to the doctor, and nothing bad against the medical organisation, but I didn't want to take a pill because one day I wanted to get off the pill. I wanted to talk to someone, but I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. Waiting lists, because I couldn't afford anything at the time, because I wasn't working, because I'd hit rock bottom. Waiting lists were an incredible amount of months, 1.5 months, sometimes 3 years. And yeah, it was just, I just knew I had this burning desire inside me, and I just wanted more, to be honest with you. I wanted answers. I wanted someone to just listen to me and not take it all away, because I know they couldn't take it away, because it was me that had gone through and experienced the trauma and the upset that I'd gone through. And it wasn't even for someone to say, do you know what, it's going to be better, because I didn't want better at that time, because I just could not feel anything. And then I had been listening to different reels on social media. And you know what the algorithm's like when you start listening to one sort of positive mindset reel. It floods in a lot of others. And I think at that point, I had this pull, and I can't explain what it is, what it was. Obviously now I believe it's a subconscious mind. I just had this pull that I needed and wanted to know more. And you sort of like you sift through the good and the bad on the social media platforms. And I was noticing that I had this pattern, and this pattern wasn't just about toxic partners or toxic family, because that wasn't really doing anything for me. It was more about your mindset, how you wake up in the mornings. In the mornings, the moment you first open your eyes, those first few seconds, minutes are vital. And my head at that point was going 1,000 miles an hour because of having ADHD, hadn't been diagnosed at that point. So it was another weight or another burden where it was just holding me down. And then someone that I knew, funny enough, ex-partner, he recommended that I listened to this motivational speaker. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But he was like, no, it's really, really good. At that point, to be honest with you, I was so desperate because I was tired of breaking down in tears and rocking on the bed like a baby and sitting on the balcony and thinking it's just going to be so much easier. I just needed it to stop my head.
Yeah.
And I listened to this guy, and I remember sitting there and, I'm going to say this person started to watch the first hour with me of this session. And it was lockdown, so again, very limited. Obviously, everyone knows that situation in that time period. So this motivational speaker was doing it through Zoom, but such a wide audience. I remember watching it on the television, and there was so many screens with so many people all the way around the world, to be honest with you. And in the back of my head, I was thinking, yeah, but, is it true? Is this just a money maker type of thing? And they were like giving like little talks. And I was thinking, yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, I feel a little bit like that. Still not trusting the process. And then like they'd throw out a question to the audience. And I'd be sitting there thinking, yeah, but you had to answer, because then they would emphasize, so then everybody, what do you think? Come on, let me hear you. And I was going like, yeah. And then my ex-partner was going, no, get it out of you, because you've been holding so much in over the years of different traumatized experience and things that I'd gone through, that I just buried it so deep. And this event went on for 4 days, and it was through the night. So again, my memory was tricking me, because obviously where I had tried to, it was putting me into a place where I was used to going back through experience of what I was used to. So if I had done an all-nighter, and I do apologise, I'd be thinking, oh my God, no, I should be asleep. So my mental thought pattern was I wanted to learn, but I needed to be asleep. I'm now awake all night because it was coming from America. And I was thinking, again, I was fighting mentally, but I also knew I needed to stop this process, because that process that had got me through so many years wasn't healthy, and it wasn't actually fixing my problem. So it's trusting the process. And
So
after the first,
you made that active decision, didn't you? You made that active decision to actually help yourself at that point.
because you know what, Fran, I was desperate. I was so desperate, because I knew I didn't want to be where I was. I didn't. I felt depressed, but I knew I wasn't depressed. I felt so low and so literally like depression, when your thought process is like you're slushing through that thick mud. you know you want to get to the edge, but you just don't know how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Listening to this motivational speaker, I actually thought, wow, that first day, wow, it sounded all new, and I was attracted to it. But I'll be honest with you, still didn't trust the process. Far from it. Did the second day, did the third day. I was on a high, absolutely on a high. And then the fourth day was, for me, so spiritually motivating. It was the first time that I actually managed to do proper meditation, and it was an actual out-of-body experience. And without saying, I don't know if I can mention his name, that was the motivational talker. It was Tony
And
Robbins.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And obviously, if you go to see him live, you get to walk across the hot coals. Yeah. But you get sent this plank of wood, yeah, where you break it. You look at the wood and you think, like, no way. And I broke it. The first go of breaking it, I actually broke it. And that was who I wanted. That's who I wanted to become. That's when I knew mindset therapy was the answer. Now, I'm not saying it's the answer for everybody, but for me, when I think about everything that I had gone through, and I had every reason not to want to get up the next morning, every reason, from every angle, from friends, from family, from society, from everything. There was no reason for me to actually want to wake up the next day. But there was something inside me that wanted to wake up the next day.
But see,
And then
this is part of your breakthrough, though. So although this may not be for somebody else, it's because something else is for them.
yeah,
This is just something that worked for you in the way of a breakthrough, and that actually enlightened you to
yes,
your actual mindset, and your mindset being the key to your own progress.
yeah, because let's face it, when we are, everybody is different. Nobody is the same, and we think differently, we speak differently, we want things differently, we go through things differently, and we deal with things differently. And this goes back to me saying that one pill. How can that one same pill do something for me as it's done for 100? Because we're all so different.
Yeah, and that's no judgment either for anybody that does
No, no,
rely on medication, whether it be for long term or short term.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's going to work for them in that moment in time.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So things that I learned, I knew that this was great for me. At that time, I wasn't really thinking about, okay, well, that tool can help that person. This tool that I've learned can help that person. At that moment, in that time, it was for me. And that felt weird because the abuse that I've gone through, thinking about me was wrong. It was selfish. It was a negative. But I was so drawn and so in love with everything that I had learnt, I wanted to share it with other people. That was probably the very start of my mindset journey, because on that journey, everything that I learned, yeah, it was for me. However, I was then realizing the more we talk, and obviously before that, I was a beauty therapist. So I'm a therapist anyway. And you're listening to people, and you obviously have to have confidentiality with what you're listening to because they're your clients. So I never shared any details or anything like that. However, things that they were saying, and I could offer a little bit of advice because they were asking me what was my opinion. So in a professional way, I gave a little bit of my thought process, but not telling them to make any decisions, but just saying to them, why don't you think about it like this? But I actually wasn't putting one and one together and thinking, yeah, two being mindset therapy. So I already had a passion, obviously, with what I did do with the eyelashes, of wanting people to feel good about themselves. And as the more I was learning, the more I was looking into it, the more I was now starting to listen to podcasts, the more I then started to think, do you know what? if this can help me, and I'll be honest with you, at that time, I didn't actually still appreciate what I had actually gone through. I didn't know either what I was about to go through as well. I just felt I wanted to, if I could help one other person with what I had learnt, acknowledged, and then eventually be qualified in it, for me, that was something that I truly have a passion, and I had a passion there and then for wanting to help others, because, like I say, with everything that I had gone through, I needed something, and the mindset therapy was definitely what got me through.
It's an important point that you raised, actually, of being asked for advice, so you gave it.
Yeah.
And as coaches, we work on permission. We're permission based. So we don't necessarily impart advice, although we can ask to share something that we've gone through. But people have to be ready to come forward, don't they? They have to be ready to want to help themselves.
100%. And, you know, there's trauma comes through all types of areas of our lives. One part of that, which I can relate to, I can relate to a lot, but one part of that I will just emphasize on is abusive relationships. You can't tell someone, if someone's talking to you and they're telling you, for example, about what sort of relationship they're in, how they're feeling, it could be very easy, especially for someone that's gone through it, to turn around and say, do you know what, you need to leave. Just get out now. You can't do that. That person has to come to the decision themselves. And you can't decide for anybody. And that's the same with coaching. We don't ever tell our clients what to do. They have to come to that decision themselves.
We're their guide. So we're their guides through that transformation as such.
Yes.
And it's all permission based.
Yes.
I've got another question for you, because I'm a curious little being. So what's one step that listeners, so anybody listening today, what's one step that they can take towards their own authentic success?
Success is a funny word. How do we judge, or how do we even view, or how do we even explain what success is? Because, you know, success isn't about impressing anybody, is it? It's about aligning
Unless you want it to be.
Yeah, that's true. But when it's your own personal success, and you are talking about this journey in life, it's really about aligning our actions with what truly matters to ourselves. And that would be the same to our listeners as well. You know, we are actually living in a world where success is often measured by a surface level of achievements. And to a point, when we're brought up and we're in a society, that's what we do, don't we? Especially in a corporate life, maybe. Our success is what have we got materially, for an example. It's like we award ourselves with like little trophies. It could even be what sort of car, how high or low the income is. While those things can be part of our journey, they aren't the destination. And I know for myself, when I've brought something that I thought, yeah, that's amazing. Once I've brought it, it's like, okay, where's the next thing? What's the next thing going to be now? You know? So authentic success it's personal. It's quiet. It's the kind of success that doesn't always come with applause. And that's another thing you learn when you go on a journey, because sometimes you think, oh my God, I've just achieved that. And you're looking around, it's like, oh my God, there's no one else around to acknowledge or to praise you for your success. Now, I'm not saying there's no family members or partners or friends, because I know with yourself, when you see me grow, you're like, Jules, you've done so well. It comes from ourselves, doesn't it, at the end of the day? So with that in mind, what does it feel like successful? It feels like when you wake up and you're feeling just like you are living your own values. You're doing it for you. And if no one else ever comments about it or praises you, you're actually doing it for yourself. What does success look like then if no one's actually watching you? Well, your answer is in the questions. Not anyone else's. It's your own compass. You're the author of your story. And like we say as coaches, it's now the present that then gives us purpose to move into the future. We now become our own authors of our own book. And when you get to that point, that feeling of success, seeing that actually what the work that you've put in, that feeling no money can ever buy. That feeling is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, because the truth is, at the end of the day, when you define success for yourself, you stop chasing. You stop chasing other people's approval. You start creating something that's sustainable, something that's fulfilling, and something that's real. And you're being honest to yourself. And that's where the real power behind your own success is.
And that's where the one step that anybody listening can actually do today is to acknowledge that they can have success.
Yeah.
It's what success means to them. So it's completely
Yeah.
contextual
Yeah.
within their own kind of a values alignment and what they want to achieve.
And that might be hard for some people to absorb and some people to take in, because again, we are also very, very different, also very different. But those of us that have been mums and we've had babies, you know, we all have that newborn baby in our arms and we think, what the hell do we do? And there are so many baby books on the shelves, but yet that one baby book is not going to suit your own baby. So you have to figure it out yourself, because you learn day by day what your own baby needs. Yeah, we get the sense of direction. We get the sense of, if you do it this way, this is going to make it better in the future. But then you can read another book that actually contradicts that, you know?
Well,
You know,
there are different ways of learning, aren't there? So for me,
because
it's not,
we're all different learners, aren't we?
yeah.
You know?
So for me, I do love books.
Yeah.
So I love the classic literature books. If it's a fiction book, then sorry, if it's a non-fiction book for actually academic learning, then I'm going to take a highlighter
Yeah.
pen to it. I'm going to fold those pages and I'm going to like put my highlighter pen through it, because that's the way that I learn. I have to take each section in little chunks. So this is all
Yeah.
about the fact that we're all different learners as well. So it's finding the thing that's going to suit you. These transformations that are offered, I offer transformations through my coaching. You do through yours. They're
Yeah.
available for people, and there are different ways of them accessing that due to
Yeah.
different learning styles and different
Yeah.
places people are on in their journey of life as well.
Yeah.
Because once you've got
Yeah.
these tools and resources, there are standard sets of tools and resources that can be used.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that's the beautiful thing about the mindset, because you're teaching yourself something new. Because when I say you're teaching yourself is something new, it's because most of the time we just almost drift into a life pattern, a work pattern, a relationship pattern. When we sometimes have that wake up call, then it changes. And having that mindset, we learn what the need is that we have, which tool is going to help us and our clients, like we said. And that's the wonderful thing. There are so many tools for NLP coaching out there. There are so many tools in mindset transformation. And yeah, that's honestly the most wonderful, beautiful thing about the mindset, because it's not just sticking a plaster on a wound, it's healing the wound from underneath to then come to the surface. And we know when those tools are applied, it's going to work. Definitely going to work.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. So what's next for you, Jules?
I seem to be more drifting into public speaking, which when I very first started my coaching journey, I think we've always said, yeah, public speaking, podcasting. Haven't done the podcasting bit yet. You're ahead of me with that. Public speaking, yeah, that's what I'm doing a little bit more of. I've been a guest a couple of times in Bangladesh, not literally physically, but online, and that's been a real privilege to be part of. It's been lovely. So yes, public speaking, again, to help people, podcasting, and to offer retreats, which is something else that I've always wanted to do as well. So yeah.
Now, I know that you're on TikTok.
Yes.
So for those of you curious about identity empowerment coaching, you can find Jules on TikTok. Now on TikTok, you're Jules _ unseen to unbreakable, and it's a number 2.
Yeah.
And that's a platform that you're just starting to build up, aren't you? That's very coaching related.
Yes, it just gives, again, things that helps me at the very beginning. For example, like the motivational quotes. I obviously offer little tips to help, little tools to try and help. And it's building up a trust as well, with people, because, so many are out there that are unfortunately saying what they do, but they're not qualified in doing it. We know that we are qualified with it, and we're experienced, we've gone through things. Now we've got the actual qualification to offer the tools, because we know we're going to help. So it's like having a double whammy, isn't it, really?
You're also just starting a YouTube channel. So again, that's Unseen to
Yes, I have.
Unbreakable, isn't it, on YouTube?
Yeah.
So
The
there's going to
reason
be
I actually
more to
called it
come.
Unseen, yeah, and the reason I've called it Unseen to Unbreakable is I see you, and I see you when someone is standing there. I see them, and to hear someone say to them, so when I heard someone say to me, I see you, I see you, I see what you're going through, and it's like an arrow going into your heart. It was for me, and it's comforting. So going from unseen, thinking that you're invisible, pushing those feelings down, becoming out of control within yourself, going from that to becoming someone that is actually unbreakable, that's grounded, that has got the power within themselves to rise and to shine. That's why I called it Unseen to Unbreakable.
And that in itself is a transformation. To go from unseen to unbreakable is a transformation in itself, isn't it? You're also on Facebook. I'm not sure how active you are on Facebook with your actual coaching.
I'm not on Facebook anymore. I accidentally
Right.
deleted it.
So it's a
Yeah.
personal account that you have on Facebook.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my main platforms are TikTok,
Yeah.
LinkedIn, and I've just
Oh, of
started
course,
to,
LinkedIn.
yes, and I've just started to I've just opened up the YouTube channel, so I'm just looking at content to get that together. I've just also started to do my TikTok lives as well, where
Yeah.
I interview different people. You was my beautiful guest yesterday.
You're welcome.
Um, so yeah, so it's just slowly getting myself out there and to be seen.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of these social media platforms, in that we can choose where to show up. So you mentioned
Yes.
social media earlier. and the algorithm and stuff like that. So this has just reminded me to say to any listeners that are interested in the social media part of it, you get to show up how you want to and where you want to. You don't need to share everything. You share what you want to be seen. So
100%.
whether that's for a personal point of view, or whether it's that you've got a business profile, or you're starting a little
Yeah.
business or something like that, however it is, you use it with that intention. You don't have
Yeah.
to share everything on social media. You can have it as private or just not put it out there at all. And
Yeah.
I always forget about, it's just an example as well, I always forget about LinkedIn because I don't use it. So when you said LinkedIn, I'm like, oh yeah, of course you're on LinkedIn. Because I
Yeah.
know that you're on there. I don't use, it's not a platform that I use.
No.
Um, and that's
Yeah.
okay. We
Yeah.
we show up where we choose to and where we think
You
our
do.
audience is best served.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
and I know that you're going to encourage me to get going more on TikTok.
I am. Yes. And isn't it funny? Different areas. Yeah. Let's scratch that. But yeah, TikTok is definitely a platform that is definitely becoming more for businesses to promote their business,
Yeah.
especially with the
What's
videos as
just out of interest, so talking about coaching and
well.
coaching techniques and stuff like that, do you have a favorite technique? Do you have a go-to, one that kind of resonates with you more with the type of coaching that you do?
For myself or for other people.
Either.
Okay. I know this one, if we don't, it's not, for me, first it's grounding myself, because I'm
Yeah.
always one of these that I could be living in a beautiful country, but I'm still thinking the next thing, where's it going to take me? What am I going to do? Where am I going to go from here? And by grounding yourself, breathing, and fully grounding yourself with the breathing and everything else, that's the number one thing. Then it's the timeline, because
Oh, really?
yes, and I mean, there's so many tools there. It's like
Yeah.
there are so many tools. The timeline, because for me, where my head is having ADHD, I'm always racing forwards. I've always got 1,000 things going
Right.
on in my head. So I need to slow that down, otherwise I'm going to miss the moment. Doing a timeline and then anchoring that special moment of what I want to do, it's a sense of grounding as well, because it
Yeah.
makes it more real for me, and it really does give me a focus, because having ADHD, I lose concentration so quickly. I get distracted. I don't
So
get
it's like
distracted.
using, so you're using that timeline to actually put a pinpoint in it and say that's the place. That's where we're heading.
That's the place, that's the goal. Now that can all change, because you know what, for me, I love manifestation, like manifesting, and that can change. Do you know what I mean? But I know what my goals are. I know what my goals are. So I have done my mood board with a relationship, the house, first class or business class, podcast, public speaking, and that's, for me, see it, feel it, live it. And it just makes it a purpose.
Yeah.
Past, you can't do anything about. Present brings you to a purpose. And that, for me, does so much for me. And I've seen it do so much for others as well that I've talked to.
So just for anybody listening as well, by timeline, we mean timeline coaching. There is also timeline therapy, but Jules and I do timeline coaching. And that is that you have a timeline stretching out of what's gone before, the present moment in time, and what's to come in the future. So it's
Yeah.
really good for pinpointing those intentions and those goals. It's really good on working towards things. And it can act like, your North Star that guides you. And as
Definitely.
coaches, that's what we can do for clients as well, because we can do timeline
Yeah.
coaching. And I love that
And
you've got sorry, go on.
but it keeps us on track as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say, I love that you've got is it like a mood, what did you call it, a mood board or a vision board?
Some people call it a mood board, vision boards. I probably
Yeah,
named it wrong. Vision board, because
that's
obviously
fine.
I
You name it what you
yeah,
name it.
yeah. Um, yeah, definitely. For me, that's I used to have it on my home screen on my phone, but I think I changed the picture. But yeah, just seeing that, and I think that keeps me on track. I also have to write things down every day that I've got to do as well, because otherwise
Oh,
I
I make
forget.
lists on lists and I doodle on everything. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
somebody that responds very well to either pictures or having something written down.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
So that whole
Me
kind
too.
of visual aspect of what you want and thinking about what you want, is a lovely
Yeah,
thing within a vision board.
yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
like that.
Yeah,
But that can be working towards success as well, because you truly picture and then embody the things that you want to be, or picture the things that you want to achieve, um,
yeah.
and that can help
And I
with
think,
success.
yeah, and I think you saying that, Fran, sometimes when we talk to individuals, and we say one question is, well, what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself? And I know for me, I was stuck with the answer for that for so long, so long. And then when I did think, yeah, but that just seems total. If I had a thought in my head, I thought, yeah, but that's so far out, I'll never reach that. Or, yeah, but is that for me? Because I've been doing this routine for so long, so many years. Honestly, if someone had said to me 10 years ago, this is what I would do, and I'd say 10 years because obviously I was divorced, going through a divorce. I hadn't, no, tell a lie, I wasn't even going through a divorce at that point. 10 years ago, if someone said to me, I would be living in a certain place, doing a certain thing, helping others, having goals that aren't even crossing my mind, I would have turned around and said, I'm sorry, but you don't actually know me, because this is me. And now my life it's completely changed, all for the good. Life's a journey. I've had to go through some horrific things, but it didn't stop me from ending up, which is like my my reason for living, my purpose.
But that's the thing as well, isn't it? We can always change. We can change, we can
Yeah,
evolve, we can develop, and
yeah,
definitely we can do that with our minds, and that's what mindset's all about.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm. Well, thank you for joining me today, Jules. And
Thank you so much.
we've kept it all nice and professional, because obviously Jules and I know each other. So, um,
No,
so again, just to reiterate, for anybody interested in Jules and what she gets up to, um, and the type of coaching that she does, then you can find her on TikTok as Jules_unseen_2 Unbreakable. On LinkedIn, gotta remember LinkedIn this time. YouTube, which
mm-hmm.
has just started. So it's a channel that's just started. So Unseen to Unbreakable on YouTube. And for anybody looking you up, I'm going to put your name out there. It's Jules Dalton. So
Yeah, thank you. And
you're
thank you so much
welcome.
for coming as a guest. It's been
Oh,
absolutely joyful. Thank you. I've really enjoyed it. I know it's been long awaited. I know you've been trying to get me to come on here
I
for a long
know. Keep trying to
I know.
encourage you to come on my podcast.
I know.
Um,
Yeah,
oh dear. So if you're interested in more content like this, be sure to visit www.melancholymentor.com and follow us for the latest updates. This podcast also goes out on YouTube, um, and so it goes out in video format as well. And I always try and not to be too distracted by the video, because I've got different screens up on my laptop, because sometimes my camera glitches and stuff like that, and it kind of throws me off a little bit. So I'm always like, don't look at the camera, don't look at the camera. This goes out on YouTube as well. So wherever you find this, you'll either find this somewhere out on social media as the actual podcast, or on YouTube. Then just drop a follow and come and say hello. And until next time, stay curious and keep igniting your creative potential.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining me on the Melancholy Coaching Podcast. I'd love you to subscribe. For queries or to connect, email info@melancholymentor.com. Until next time, keep igniting your creative potential.